I'm Mr. MegaManFan. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. You know all the things to do. We've got another Evercade cartridge to see if it's worth the $20 here. Metal Dragon and Life on Mars. As it says on the box, two indie thrillers from Kai Magazine Software. Single-handedly prevent World War III in the explosive run-and-gun mayhem of Metal Dragon and uncover a sci-fi mystery in the atmospheric Life on Mars. Let's get this open, pop it in the Evercade Versus, and give it a try. Now this one is a little different from typical Evercade releases because there's a fold-out poster which at first glance appeared to be an NES-style manual, but once you actually get it out of the plastic clip, you see there's a manual underneath it, whereas this is actually just a poster for Metal Dragon and Life on Mars, one game on each side of the poster. I'm not going to unfold it fully here, but you get the idea. And the manual is printed so that you flip it over for whichever game you're currently reading the instructions for. You can see it's kind of upside down, inside out, but that's the way it was designed to flip and read for whichever game you currently happen to be playing. Let's talk about the games themselves, starting with Life on Mars. I get a very Metroid slash Super Metroid vibe from this one, and I am totally good with that because I love both of those games. I love the Metroid series, especially any of the 2D iterations, and this very much follows in that formula. Your name is Sam, and you've been sent to Mars because they've lost contact with the colony that was investigating the ice water supply that was there, possibly for future human terraforming, or to see if there was microorganic life in the water, hence life on Mars. And something has gone terribly wrong. You've lost contact with the colony, and when you arrive, the hangar bay is closed. You can't get in. You have to go in through a service duct, and the robots immediately start attacking you. And as is typical for Metroid-style games, you are very weak at the beginning. You have a shotgun, no bombs, a limited jumping ability. These are all things that you have to upgrade by exploring the stages, acquiring power-ups, and sometimes backtracking to get an item that you needed that blocks off an area you can't get to. Like, for example, there's an area very early on where it tells you, I need to burn my way through this vegetation, so obviously you're going to need a flamethrower weapon, and you don't have that yet. There's also an area where there's a huge boulder slash rock formation blocking your way, and it says, I'm going to need some kind of explosive to take this out if I want to get through it. So obviously you need grenades or bombs, something that can destroy those rocks. So you're limited at first, but the more you power up, the more you're going to be able to explore. And of course, the more difficult the alien robotic life that you are encountering is going to become. I say alien because so far all I've met is these mutated chickens that really just shredded me to pieces. I definitely shouldn't have been messing with this area, but I assume there is even more deadly life. But most of the life I've met so far on Mars is robotic in nature. Probably meant to help the colonists, but it has gone rogue for whatever reason, which is, again, why you play the game. You want to find out what happened to these people. You want to learn everything you can along the way as you explore. And I did not watch any playthroughs or read any reviews of this game before I bought it for Evercade because I didn't want those kind of spoilers. I didn't want to know what was going on Life on Mars. I wanted to find out for myself. I like this game. I like everything that it represents in terms of side-scrolling 2D exploration. The platforming was a little frustrating at first, but I'm assuming once I unlock the double jump, that will get a little better. And the weapons are, as I noted, pretty weak at the beginning, but I assume once I upgrade a few things, they'll get better too. I've already started picking up shield generators and energy rechargers, and I did manage to get the grenades in my testing playthrough of Life on Mars, so I feel like I'm making good progress in the game very early on, and that's the kind of thing that's going to hook you. Is you don't want to be completely overwhelmed to the point where you can't do anything, you don't know where to go, and you have no choice but to just quit. You want to get some upgrades very early on in a Metroid or a Super Metroid style game so that you have an incentive to keep going. What's also helpful in keeping you going is that enemies tend to drop power-ups as you go, as you destroy them, so even if your shields get depleted, you can recharge them, And when you get to the checkpoints to save, you'll also get a recharge there as well. These are very Metroid, Axiom Verge, Castlevania elements, whatever you want to say, Metroidvania. You're familiar with all of these things, being able to save your progress in-game, although you can also go to the Evercade's quick load save menu and do save states there. So you can save your progress in the game, or you can save your progress with the menu, but either way, you can power up when you save your progress. I recommend Life on Mars. I think this game is really good. Now, Metal Dragon is a run and gun game that's both paying tribute to Metal Gear and making fun of it at the same time, but it's actually more like Commando. You'll see what I mean in a minute, but first of all, when you start out the game, you're getting a very infiltrate and do espionage type mission from the boss, which is very Metal Gear. And he tells you not to kill anybody, but he also tells you that Flaccid Snake, yeah, here's where I said it's a parody of Metal Gear. Flaccid Snake has lost contact with the team, so you're being sent in to finish the job that he couldn't do. And even though they're telling you not to kill anybody, your character's like, hey, to heck with that. I'm a killing machine and this is a video game, so we're breaking the fourth wall right away. And then you get dropped into the game and discover that it is indeed a run and gun commando style game where enemies are coming at you from all sides, firing bullets at you, and you need to take them out and pick up power-ups along the way, like a spread shot, a laser, a machine gun. They drop stuff along the way that you can use, so help yourself to whatever you find. And there are also health packs on the ground. You can take a few hits, but you can also pick up the health packs to get a few hits back. The only drawback I had at first was trying to do this with the D-pad. It turned out to be way too limiting in terms of shooting enemies, and how I ever did it with Commando on the NES, I'll never be sure, because having a complete freedom of 360 degrees to move in with the stick is so much better. So turn on analog controls. They're a beta option in the settings on your Evercade, and if you're using a wireless controller, take full advantage of that. I'm using my PlayStation 4 controller, and that was the other problem I had with Metal Dragon is I did not fully charge it the last time I played, so in the middle of Metal Dragon, it died, and I had to plug it into a power source and restart the game so that I could actually play the game properly without my character starting to move in one direction and then it losing contact with the console, and he just keeps running in that direction endlessly. But once I plugged in my controller and got it charging again, I was able to reconnect to the Evercade and continue my playthrough. This game is probably going to be even better once I learn the various ways that the enemies come at you. There's obviously a formulaic pattern to it, and if you've played it more than once, you'll know where they're attacking from, and you'll kind of be able to aim at them and take them out before they even get there. And watch out for any moving vehicles. You can destroy them with your weapons, but if they run into you, you instantly lose a life. You don't lose a little bit of health, you just get mowed down by the vehicles. So try to avoid them when they come on the screen. Or you better shoot them down fast enough that that's not an issue, as I just did there. So if you've played the Commando game, you know this very well. If you've played most run and gun games, you know this formula well too. It's also got side-scrolling stages, not just up and down stages, although they're not platforming stages like Contra. They're just side-scrolling run and gun where the enemies are coming at you from left to right instead of from up and down. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they come at you diagonally too, because this seems like a game that likes to change things up on the fly. Whatever you expect to be doing, it's going to do something different. I can definitely say that with this 2-pack, Metal Dragon and Life on Mars, you're getting your money's worth for $20. You're getting a sci-fi exploration game that requires some quick action, but also some skilled planning. And you're getting a run and gun game where you just get to mow everything down and have yourself a grand old time without overthinking it too much. There may be some strategy to it later, but it certainly doesn't seem that way at the beginning, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with just throwing yourself into the action and having at it. And because it continually parodies the Metal Gear series, I get a chuckle out of the interactions with Slim Boss. So I give it high marks for that, and I give this entire package Metal Dragon, Life on Mars, 2 thumbs up, $20 well spent. I would have bought these on consoles, but this is obviously a much cheaper way to do it than getting a homebrew cartridge in a physical box released by whichever person developed it, or Kai Magazine if they're the ones that licensed it and developed it. I don't know how this works. I don't know who the original author would have been before Kai Magazine, or if Kai Magazine commissioned these games. As I said, I did not do any research because I did not want any spoilers before I played these games. But they're both great. They're both throwbacks to the 8-bit and 16-bit era of games that I'm fond of and nostalgic for. And I imagine if you're watching this right now, you are too. So give this 2-pack a chance, and I don't think you'll be disappointed in any way. It's $20 well spent. I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and you can watch this tank battle as I wrap up the video and say thank you for watching.